So let's do some more examples of how to name naming acids. Okay, so this is the acid formula. Now we want to write the anion formula. So that's pretty much everything other than the hydrogen. So scribble out that hydrogen for a second. And what anion do I have? I have BrO3 minus. And who is that? That is bromate. And if you don't have these memorized yet, that's okay. You will eventually memorize them. Make some note cards. So remember, bromate's not going to be on the list. Chlorate's on the list. But then you have to remember that chlorine, bromine, and iodine do the same thing. So if chlorate is ClO3 minus, then bromate is BrO3 minus. Now, what do I do? The ending names, I drop the 8 and I change it to ic, aidic-itis. If it ends in 8, change it to ic. If it ends in ite, change it to us. 8, ic, ite, us. So this becomes bromic acid. Bromic acid. That's bromic acid. Now, I did the same thing down here. This is, okay, so I have hydrogen and then iodate. So here we have IO3 minus. That's the piece that's not hydrogen, so scribble out the hydrogen. What's left over, IO3 minus. That is iodate. So I drop that 8 and it becomes ic because it's an 8, so aidic-itis. So this is iodic acid. Now, NO2 is nitrite, so we have NO2 minus, that's nitrite. What do I do to ites? 8, ic, ite becomes us. So I drop this ite and it becomes nitrous. Nitrous acid. That's nitrous acid. SO3 2 minus. So this 2 on the hydrogen came from the 2 minus over here, and hydrogen's plus 1. So SO3 2 minus. Well, SO4 2 minus is sulfate. So this is, so remember what sulfate was. This is sulfate. So sulfate, if I get rid of one oxygen, it becomes sulfite. This is sulfite. So what do I do to ites? Drop the ite and change it to us acid. Now, sulfur and phosphorus do something special just to make it flow a little bit better. Instead of just saying sulfurous acid, it's sulfurous acid. Sulfurous acid. So sulfur adds an extra little UR here. Phosphorus is going to do the same thing. Instead of phosphic acid, it becomes phosphoric acid, that sort of thing. This one is S2 minus. So this is the sulfide ion. Sulfide. This is not an oxy ion. This is just this is a binary acid here. It's not an oxy acid. So the oxy ones are, if it ends in ide, then it becomes ic acid, but I have to add a prefix. So this is going to be hydro and then sulfuric acid. Sulfur gets an extra little UR there. This guy is ClO minus. That is the hypochlorite ion, hypochlorite, not hydro, don't confuse that with hydro, hypochlorite, that's the name of this ion, and so I'm going to get rid of the ite. What do ites become? 8 ic, ite us, so this becomes hypochlorous acid. Alright, so that's hypochlorous acid. There's a bunch of these for homework. There's a few more to do on this page, and there's also a lab. We're going to do a whole lab on this sort of thing. Now here, they want you to go, no, still going the same way. Yeah, we didn't come up with the formula yet. Alright, so here they give you the name of the polyatomic ion in parentheses, the oxy ion over here. So HClO4, so that's the perchlorate ion. So what do we do to 8s? What do we do to 8s? Drop the 8, becomes ic. So this is perchloric acid. So this is perchloric acid. This is another 8, so chloric becomes it. This is just chloric acid. And ite, what happens to ites? They become us. This is chlorous acid. And hypochlorite becomes hypochlorous acid. And ide, oh, now what do I do to ides? Ides get a prefix, hydro, and then chloric acid. So this becomes hydrochloric acid. 8, what do I do to 8s? 8 becomes adic-itis. So this is just selenic acid. Carbon 8 becomes ic. This is carbonic acid. Phosphate, adic. So remember now, phosphorus is a little bit different. It becomes phosphoric acid instead of just phosphoric acid. Same thing happens to sulfur. This is ite. This is going to become us. So I want sulfurous acid instead of sulfic acid. So you get a little bit extra in there. All right, so we talked a little bit about these chemical families. We said chlorine, bromine, and iodine do very similar things. So if you know chloric acid, then you know bromic and iodic. All right, this is just another step-by-step way of determining the acid name. So we'll do more of these in class. We have a lab. There's some homework problems to work on as well.